Copyright 2013 Beulah Presbyterian Church. All rights reserved. This video and its contents may not be duplicated in any way or shared in any way via electronic format or web media. The video content is property of Beulah Presbyterian Church, and all stories enacted in this video are under copyright law by the publishers of Young Children in Worship, 1989, Sonja M. Stewart and Jerome W. Berryman, Westminster, John Knox Press, and Following Jesus, 2000, Sonja M. Stewart, Geneva Press.
Hello, my name is Carolyn Leah, and I'm the Director of Children and Family Ministries at Beulah Presbyterian Church. Today, I would like to introduce you to a new way that we at Beulah are helping children and their families learn to tell the stories of God. Beulah Presbyterian Church has long been a church that believes children of all ages can know and tell the stories of God. For many years, Beulah has had a special worship center for young children called the Knowing Place. In this worship center, children are allowed to listen, wonder, and respond to a special way of telling the stories of God. The stories use plain wooden figures and other small props to tell the stories of God in such a way that we can become part of the story and can wonder about the works of God within each story. The rhythm of each story allows for us to remember these stories. Children often remember the lines to a favorite song, video, or movie. Many children are able to quote whole sections of their favorite Disney movie. The ability to retell God's stories in the same way helps to fulfill the very command God has given us in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 5 to 7. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And these words which I commanded you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. The best way for families to hear and understand God's Word is to read or listen to the stories of God together. To wonder what those special words mean for our family today. The Knowing Place stories are a wonderful way to hear of God's presence, God's power, and God's love for His people. But to take those stories and make them our own allows us to really sense God's presence at all times in our lives. Beulah Children Ministry Team has embarked on a new storytelling project. We have videotaped each of the Knowing Place stories so that this outstanding storytelling tool can be used within the home, and children and families can learn the stories of God in a new way. The figures and props for each story live in special boxes at Beulah Presbyterian Church. As you watch each video, notice the figures and props, and gather things in your own home that could substitute for these items. Small toys, small plastic bottles, wooden blocks, or even the salt and pepper shakers can substitute for figures in the story. Watch the video. Listen to the words, gather your own props, and play the story again and again. Before you know it, you and your child will know the stories and maybe be able to tell one of the stories of God too. As we continue to build our library of videotaped stories, we will be beginning a program for children and adults to move from being a novice storyteller through several stages to master storyteller. There will be opportunities to retell stories to some of our Knowing Place storytellers at Beulah, and to progress through the different stages of being a storyteller. The stories are bound by a copyright law, and no part of the video may be reproduced or even reshared via the web without permission from Beulah Presbyterian Church. By practicing and re-watching the videotaped stories, we will be able to hide God's Word in our hearts and to draw on the stories of God throughout our lives. It is our hope at Beulah Presbyterian Church that you will be blessed by this new video ministry and that your relationship with God will be renewed and strengthened as you hear and tell the stories of God.